Hi everybody, Steve here. Welcome back to Command Centre Wargaming. So I hope everyone's had a good week painting and everything like that. Today we're going to have a little bit of chat about a new potential unit, a Demon Engine, Black Legion, Chaos Walker that's potentially going to be rocking up really soon. So first of all, before that, I'd just like to thank all my subscribers. Thank you very much to all the viewers for watching as well. We're at 499 subscribers, so we're nearly there. We're nearly at 500, which is fantastic. So if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the little red button there and the bell notification icon down next to it. So let's move on with the video, everybody. So we've got the Warhammer Conquest art here. This is basically, Warhammer Conquest is basically like sort of like a terrain pack that's coming out with the soon with new terrains and things like that, some statues, some rubble, all that kind of jazz, which is really pretty cool. And along with it, we've got this artwork, okay, which is basically some Reavers, probably they're coming down, coming into storm, some, you know, factory or something like that. They're probably going to rappel down there, and then we got these Storm Strike Interceptors flying in, right? It looks like maybe one of the gunships or something there. You know, sort of kind of like a lightning assault, you know, like a blitzkrieg assault onto this sort of chaos fortification. Either that or they're defending, all right? It doesn't matter. Anyway. So basically, now everything's stock standard here, except right in the middle here, right in the middle here, you see this battle going on. You can see there's a Vindicator, Chaos Vindicator, there's a Land Raider, and then there's basically this sort of like tick spider bell-shaped icon thingy here. And I'm just going to go in there, I'll just zoom in on this, and this is a zoom in of the unit, right? And you can see you've got some Chaos sort of Marines here, and you've got a Land Raider here. It's really cool. So now a lot of people have been saying, well, you know, all right, we could just be some filler art. Maybe the artist basically just came up and wanted to put something in there, wanted it to be really cool, and whack in, use some creative license and whack that in. Look, to be honest, I think that in the old days of Games Workshop, I think that's more than quite possible, especially around about 3rd edition era. They were notorious for doing that. There were like so many things, so many mutants, so many things that just like literally got stuck into the codexes and the rule book. Some of it became, you know, like units later, but most of the time it was basically just like, oh, what's that mutant guy? Like this whole page of like mutants, a guy with like a snake coming out of his tongue and stuff and 5 eyes, you know, never to be seen again. But the thing is, I would argue that, you know, these days of Games Workshop, they're a lot stricter on their intellectual property, okay? So they're not gonna allow anything to appear in their artwork. They're not going to let anything to be in their stores without it being part of their miniature range, without it being part of the official Games Workshop Citadel miniature line, okay? So unless the artist did this and it snuck through and you've basically got this unit here and it's you know, and in which case that artist is probably going to be in very big trouble by now, you know, because you don't mess with IPs. But at any rate, okay, you know, I think that this was intentional. I really do. I don't know, you know, as to what extent of intentional it is. So I don't know if maybe it's just sort of like a unit that's going to be rocking up in a book, or maybe it's part of a Blackstone fortress, or maybe it could be like a little... I don't think it's a replacement for the Defiler. I really don't. I think it's really just a new unit for Chaos. And that's what this video is going to be about. I just want to give some of my thoughts and opinions and my theories on, as a designer, basically on what this might be, looking at it, going through it from a design perspective, from a narrative perspective, and just having a talk about, you know, what it is, what it might be. You know, so if anyone has been following me for a while, you would have noted that I sort of called this out a couple of weeks ago. In some of my videos there, I've got like new Chaos units, and I spoke about like possible what I would like to see in 2019 from the Chaos side. And I was saying that I'd like to see some kind of subterranean flame tank kind of thing for Chaos. Now, even though I don't think this is a subterranean unit, although it probably could be, I don't think it is. but I do think it's some kind of flame tank, and I'll get into this with you right now. Whoops, that was from another video. Basically, and have a look. So, all right, so I'm going to just go through and just roll in there. All right, so basically, having a look at this unit, and like I said, there's too much design here, guys, for it to be just like some random throw-in. And I know that, like, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, the scale, we don't know how big it is. I disagree. I would think that the proportion of the Land Raider is just, maybe they'll just paint it up in Photoshop and they just Photoshopped it in really quickly. But I think we can judge the proportion of the unit with these Chaos Legionary Marines in the background. Now, I say Legionary Marines because the guy's holding an axe. And we all know that Legionary Commander guy had a Thunder Hammer, which means he might be able to take other heavy weapons as well. They're obviously Black Legion. Okay, that's for a start. The other thing is talking about the scale. What if this scale is correct, and what if that's Abaddon? I mean, I think it's a far cry because, you know, he doesn't have his Talons or Horus, and I don't think they would have given him taken that off him. But what if he's like another commander? What if he's another named character? You know, what if he's, you know, so we don't know. I mean, we've already got that Harkin the World Claimer guy. You know, what if GW were, you know, making like another sort of like commander infantry guy, and this was him, and that was his scale. I mean, because this Space Marine seems to be in pretty good proportion. So maybe it's just this guy. Maybe we're just getting these giant commander dudes. All right, who knows? So, yeah. But anyway, so with that said, you know, the scale, I believe, will be a little bit bigger than a Dreadnought. So we're looking at the scale between a Defiler and a Black Legionary Marines. A Defiler and a Dreadnought. Somewhere between there. And most of that bulk will come off on this sort of like bell-shaped thing in the background. All right? Now, so what do I think this is, and what do I think this does? I think it is an assault flame unit, or a assault warp flamer, or some kind of chemical flamer or thrower or something like that, because for two reasons. Number one, the way it's been framed, okay? The way it's been portrayed in the shot. Essentially, these guys are come busting out through here. Land Raiders come busting out through there. And if you could see here, there's a whole lot of flames in the background. It's basically haloed around this archway. And then you got this Marine standing in the background. And he's sort of following. So this unit's basically coming out, busting through the archway as if this is like a breach and clear unit. It's like smash through the door. So, you know, and I can imagine an assault unit having flamethrowers or some brutal flamethrower. And I really think that's what this is. You know, because, you know, so it could be like a warp thrower, like a warp flamethrower or something. Or even some kind of chemical weapon. It wouldn't surprise me. But now, because it looks to me like this guy is just sort of like busted through here, all right? And he's like flamed it and he's just smashed through or something like that. And that's what all these flames are about, all right? Now, some other hints and why I think this might be some kind of assault unit, flame unit. Not just a matter of he's standing up, he's leading the charge pretty much, okay? Except for the Land Raider, right? Of course the Land Raider is going to be leading the charge. But also, you've got this kind of like ballast on the back, right? You've got this kind of like ballast here on the back, which is, you know, this to me, it's some kind of tank for like fuel, promethium, phosphorus fuel, something like that, okay? And then you've got this sort of like tongue nozzle thing up the front here, which basically tells me that it could be like, you know, gonna like throw out some hot magma liquid or something like that, right? And also the fact it's crawling, just the way it's sort of like poised up. You know, it could also be like some kind of stealth unit with like a stealth generator in the back there or something like that, you know. Maybe gives, you know, Chaos +1 a hit, you know. But I don't think so, because that's not the way Black Legion would kind of roll fluff-wise, all right? And so I don't think that's it. The other thing, the third option that I think it might be, is maybe it could be like this unit like that thing off Starship Troopers that sucks the brains out, you know, and it may be this like tongue whip thing, like goes up to people, kind of like grabs around them, uses his tongue to stick it in their head, suck the brains out, you know, and then it keeps it like in this little tank here, you know, this little Bacta tank thingy here. All right, that's the other thing, because it looks to me like there might also be like some little teeth there as well, or something like that. But that could be just cosmetics, so we can't really tell from this time. But I definitely think it's full on. I think there's too much effort, too much synergy placed in this unit to just be like a freak of nature accident. I don't think that it's just chucked in there for creative license for the reasons which I've stated in the fore. All right, so it's my opinion that this will be coming. This will be one of the releases on the 80-day release. You know, coming up very soon. All right, and it'll be pretty awesome. And I think it's going to be a well needed addition to the Black Legion army and Chaos army in general. I think, because I can imagine you'd be able to like you know, sort of you know, paint this up however you want. And I think that this is just another key indicator to the fact that Vigilus Book 2 is going to be pumping Chaos pretty freaking hard, okay? So it's awesome. And that's basically all the hints I've been able to find. I've been digging around YouTube as well, having a research around the net as well. That's pretty much it. If you guys know anything more about this unit, please let me know. Drop me a comment or send me a private email if you got any backstage info. That's pretty cool. And yeah, so just some other quick news. I found out that the Tooth and Claw box has been taken off the web store. In addition, I think the Wake the Dead box has been taken off the web store. And if anyone watched my previous video, you would also know that Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Aggressors, and Hellblasters have been removed from sale. All right, and Intercessors as well, so have been removed from sale. So at the moment, the theory is that we think it's just because they want to sell the sprues. However, as people pointed out in my last video, so a lot of people said, I think Dad942 said it, that it's like, well, look, we were teased with Dante, right? So like, because I mean, with Calgar, they, you know, when he went off the record on the GW store, he became a Primaris. They did say that like, we would be getting more commanders that would be becoming Primaris. So in my opinion, Blood Angels being the second most popular chapter, as far as I know, okay, it would make sense for them to make Dante a Primaris. Also, because his model is just, you know, it's really dated. So again, it would make sense. You know, and also the other thing that was said is that, look, we got a Leviathan, Cataphracti armor, Forge World release a few weeks ago in Blood Angels, so it would make sense for them to push Blood Angels, and also the Vigilus book. So I'm thinking Vigilus book, and I'm thinking that you know, they're going to have Marines in Vigilus, because they're just going to have to do it. Ultramarines kind of had their show already. You know, I mean, I'd like to say there's only so much Ultramarines. So there's only so many Primaris lieutenants you can chuck in a book, but I'll retract that statement because it is Games Workshop. But, you know, I think that, yeah, it's possible that Blood Angels might be getting some new stuff or a new box set. I mean, I'm thinking maybe we could even get 2 new box sets. We could get like a Blood Angel starter box, and, you know, they might be redoing the other starter boxes. They might actually be turning Primaris into starter boxes. So they might, you know, because the starter box has gone up in price. So that would make sense. Because then they might say, well, look, we don't want everyone buying these, like, you know, old starter boxes off our new starter boxes. So let's, you know what I mean, like, up the price a little bit of the new starter boxes. But again, that's wild dreaming, guys. It's probably just because GW want to raise the prices because they can. And when you Games Workshop, often it is just because you can. Anyway, everybody, fantastic. Like, subscribe, share the video, all that jazz. I'll see you in the next one. You have a great day, and have a great game, and pump it out. Yeah, guys. All right. Awesome. See you in the next one, guys. See ya.